Okay, now we're live and recording. Okay, start over. What's up, everybody? I am Kimba Garcia here with my great friend today, Mason. The reason that I asked Mason to come on and do this interview with me today is because through all of the Facebook marketing that I've done, I've honestly never met anybody better than you at what you do. I just haven't. He's been able to teach me a ton of things and multiple people in our network a ton of things when it comes to Facebook ads and how to run these, because, and Mason can talk about this more, but the back end, the other side of Facebook, it's a little bit confusing, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So
Thank you for having me, by the way.
No, I'm super pumped to have you here, Mason. I really am. And I want to kick off with letting everybody know that you have Facebook for personal, right? The Facebook.com that everybody sees.
Yep.
But then we also have the back side of Facebook, which is actually business.facebook.com, which is a completely different platform. And that's really the platform that you shine on. And so that's why I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be able to get to ask you a couple questions, because I know it's going to add a ton of value to everybody watching. So if you're live with us right now, let us know that you're watching us live in the comments. Let us know that you can hear us okay. That's always the fun part of virtual stuff, right? So drop a comment. Let us know you're here. If you catch this on the replay, drop a comment and just let us know that you came back and watched it later. I know that you're going to get a ton of value out of this if you're tuning in. If you're catching this on YouTube, same thing. Drop in the comments and let us know what you learned today from Mason, because I know he has a ton of value to add to this space. So Mason, tell us a little bit about your company and what you do.
Sure. So 3 years ago, I started a marketing company essentially, and I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. I just knew that I worked a ton of sales jobs in the past, and one thing intrigued me about every job that I had, and it was, how did they bring customers in the door? So, how did they go ahead and attract people to basically purchase their product or their service? So I decided to start a marketing company, and I wanted to pick a platform. I wanted to get good at really like one, platform, and that was Facebook. So I don't really have a reason why I picked Facebook. I just chose Facebook, and I started doing ads. And when I started doing ads, when I first started out, I did a bunch of work for free because I had no clue what I was doing. Now 3 years later, I've built an entire company around it, and it's my full-time thing. So I really enjoy it, helping people make money, helping their brand get out there. And it's been a great, crazy ride. I've learned a lot throughout the years. Yeah. So
yeah, that's really cool. So we're going to start off with our first thing that we're going to be telling our audience today, which is, why should they be marketing on Facebook?
I think you should pretty much, market on Facebook because everyone's on Facebook. Okay.
Yes.
And to be honest, not a lot of businesses even market on Facebook. And I know that seems kind of crazy, and people might think like, how is that possible? But there's a lot of people out there that don't even use Facebook as a platform to market what it is that they're selling, what they're providing. And the market is really open, right? There's not as much competition as like Google, for instance. So the ability to start marketing on Facebook is actually pretty easy to get up and running and going, and you can actually get results pretty quick. I've done Google marketing as well, and there's nothing wrong with Google, but it's very saturated. It's very hard to start to get customers through the door using Google. There's a lot of things that play into Google advertising, like SEO, what type of advertising you're doing, link clicks, stuff like that. With Facebook, it's more of an attraction type of marketing. So people aren't searching for you on Facebook. You have to actually attract them to you. So it's definitely a really wide open market. There's not that much competition depending on what industry you're in, and it's very good with their targeting. So I think that you should market on Facebook. It gets more complicated throughout the years that go by because Facebook does change their policies every so often. Yeah. So it does get hard in that sense, but if you have a solid foundation, the possibilities are endless. So
I really want to just back up to something that you just said, because I do a lot of Facebook. I do a lot of just organic. I do run ads, but I do the attraction type of marketing with my company using Facebook. And one of the reasons why I personally picked Facebook is that it's I don't want to say an older demographic, right? But you have like late 20s and kind of up.
Yep.
And so people on Facebook, a lot of people on Facebook statistically actually make over 6 figures a year. A lot of Facebook users make over 6 figures a year. 76% of people in America actually get on Facebook and they check their Facebook 7 to 12 times a day. So that's insane when you're talking about the possibility of being in somebody's newsfeed and being able to attract them to your brand and your business. It's amazing. They might, because a lot of people, especially in my industry in roofing, a lot of people just don't even know that they need us yet. So it's attracting and educating them that gets there, and Facebook is amazing for that. Really.
Exactly. So if you were to market your business on Google, for instance, people would be looking for you, right? They're typing in, I need a new roof. I'm looking for a roof. You know, now Google has like certain ad placements where you can, you know, pop ads up when they're searching on websites and stuff. They're not even looking directly for you, but those ads, to me, I don't find them very effective, right? It's not like the platform Facebook itself where they're scrolling through their news feed and they're going to see an ad from you, you know?
Yeah. And Facebook also has something that Google doesn't have that you mentioned. And for anybody that might not understand this, I want to simplify it just a little bit, because it's one of my personal favorite things about Facebook is that we get to choose exactly dime for dime for every marketing dollar that we pump into Facebook. We get to decide who sees that ad. I can't choose who sees a billboard. I can't choose who hears a radio commercial, right? I can't choose who's searching for me on Google, but I can tell Facebook I only want to market to people that make $70,000 a year. We can only market to people who can afford our products. I only want to market to people who own their home, who live in this zip code. And that's one of the most powerful things about Facebook ads is that I look at it as we're not just bazooking our marketing dollars all over the place, just praying for a result. We're getting to be more tactical like a sniper and just so you can know for every dime that you spend, you're getting in your ideal customer's newsfeed and getting in front of them. And that's another really cool thing about Facebook that you mentioned about their demographics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just super deep. So that rolls us over into our next question I had for you today, Mason, which is, can you tell people the difference between, we have Boost and then we have a full-blown ad, right? And I think a lot of people kind of go, what's the difference? And then you also hear people say that Boost, some people I think that do know about Boost just kind of think that it's a waste. And so I'm interested to hear your perspective on that.
Sure. So this is my perspective. I do have a buddy of mine who does boosting a lot in his agency. I particularly do not, just with what I've learned and, you know, being on the back end for so long. Basically, with boosting, in my opinion, it's basically the beginner's way of Facebook advertising. So when you have a Facebook page and you make a post, you will always see that boost button under that post, right? Yeah. And you're tempted to click on it and it autofills, you know, United States, 18 to 65-year-olds plus in, you know, the entire US. And you can go through there and kind of change things and set an ad and, you know, $5, $10, you get it up and running. I think that's great. If you're a beginner and you want to get your brand out there, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to convert customers and you're trying to convert conversions, then the back end of Facebook is way more powerful. And the reason behind that is because when you're boosting, Facebook is really just taking your money and throwing it out to just people. Like they're not really looking at the metrics, where when you're on the back end, you're very metric focused. So for me, give you like an example. If I'm running ads for a realtor and they post a really nice post about the house that they're listing, I might boost that to the local area, right? Yeah. But I don't want that to be my whole marketing strategy, right? That's just to get eyeballs on their page, that specific post. I want to run messenger ads. I want to run engagement ads. I want to run conversion ads to the listing. Okay. So never, in my opinion, never run boosts alone. Always run them with marketing if you want to run boosts. That's just my opinion. You know, I have people that will ask me to run boost on their post. I'll do it, but I tell them, you know, your marketing dollars can go a lot farther if you have that advanced kind of marketing strategy.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. And whenever I personally, I'll just share what I do too, so people can get a couple different perspectives on it. I actually use Boost, but I use it for the purposes exactly what you said. So I loved how you worded that, because I look at Boost as branding. I want more people in the zip codes that I work in to just see RKG. So then when they see my sales team or they see my trucks, it's just not the first time that they've ever seen us before. But you're absolutely right about, are we looking to brand? Are we looking to convert into a hard sell? And the back end of Facebook also, just, of course, you have to get good at it, like you have, right? Or you have to have someone do, you either have to go through the learning curve or you have to hire someone to do these kinds of things for you. But I want everybody to know the black hole that Facebook ads can be in a really powerful way. I love that I said black hole when I'm in space too. I didn't even plan that. But what happens is you can actually use your ads, and you know more about this than I do, Mason, but you can actually track events and stuff on Facebook and go back and retarget people. So you push people to the website. Facebook will actually use the Facebook pixel to track their behavior on your website. So we can see, for people out there that own merch companies, for example, did they like this shirt? Is this the shirt that they clicked on and saw? Because if so, my next ad that's going to hit them is going to be this shirt again. And we see Amazon, and people are like, oh man, I was just looking at that. Now it's all of a sudden my Facebook feed. Well, that's not witchcraft. Like, that is Facebook pixels and ads. And as a business owner, you can actually take advantage of that yourself if you know how, or if you have somebody like Mason on your team, because you can go through and track people's behavior on your website. Were they interested in financing? Were they interested in having their insurance company pay for their roof, in my industry, for example? And so you really be able to be super tactical with the next ad that you put out and who you're going to retarget that ad to, because we can actually say, I only want the people that did this on my website to see this ad. I want the people that watch 50% of this video to see my next ad. And that's where you can just really start nerding out, and Facebook ads just get to be really cool. But I think so many people, you've loved it. You've fallen in love with it, and so you've gotten really good at it. But it just kind of scares a lot of people away because they don't know how to do it right. They think they're wasting their money, right? Do you hear that a lot from people?
I do get that. So I get a lot of people that come to my agency that I manage that have never ran an ad or don't even know how much they should be spending. And I always tell them, what I've learned over the years is, if you're doing it the right way, you're not wasting money at all. Because if you have a marketing strategy, and like you said, you have that pixel to track every direction of when someone's going on your site, what button they're clicking, are they hitting your form, but they're not filling it out? Are they filling it out? Are they watching a video? That's how powerful Facebook is if you have it set up properly. And to me, data is everything. So if you're collecting data, then you're not missing out on anything. You have who is attracted to you and who isn't. And now you just have to get better at getting those people to purchase. So that's, a lot of businesses think that they're just going to start and they're going to make money. And if it was that easy, everyone would do it, but that's not the reality of it. Now, the chances of getting there are very high, but you just have to stay consistent. And that's why it's super important to have a proper marketing strategy and have a long-term goal. And, a lot of people, they might spend $500 and go, oh, I didn't even get what I wanted. Well, that's fine. You're going to get there, but you have to understand the metrics. You have to understand, like, if you spend $500 and you get thousands of people to watch your video, and you can actually go in the back end and see how many people watched, what percentages of that video to see how well it's doing and performing. So, I tell people all the time, don't get scared if, your first month, you're not getting exactly what you want. It's just because you don't have a fine understanding of what the ads are doing for your business on the back end, because whatever is pixeled practically is what you own. So however you're building that pixel of information, you can always retarget those people later down the road, or come up with advanced targeting strategies when you're doing month 2, month 3 advertising. So
which is what makes it really cool. That was one of the hardest things for me too, Mason. And I've actually came to you and asked this question 100 times. So now I'm going to ask you this, and I guess in public. I really do think that I've asked you this question 3 times. I don't know why it's taken me 3 times to ask you this question, but what is a good way when somebody comes to you like me and says, well, Mason, how do I know how much to put into Facebook? Do I put $500? Do I put $5,000? Like, what is your advice to people that are just like, I just really don't know how much to spend?
Yeah, I get that question all the time. Almost everyone asks me,
Yeah.
because the other thing I do is I consult people. So I don't just say, hey, sign up for my Facebook ads and we're going to get cranking. I always say, what are you looking to spend? What is your return on investment, when you sell your product? That's
Right.
super important for me to know as a marketer, because I need to know what the target to get that objective done is. Because if I'm not making you money after a certain period of time, the chances of you sticking with me are going to be very slim. So my job is to make people money, over a span of 3 months, 6 months, a year. That's my job. So what I tell people is, when they ask me, how much should I be spending? I always say, well, what's your objective? We got to figure out what your objective is first. If you want me to just blast your business out there, you can start with a few $100s. But if you're trying to get a purchase, if you're trying to get a customer, which almost every business is nowadays, you don't want to be spending money and not getting towards those results. Then I always say, okay, well, what are you getting in return when you sell that product, right? If you're selling a $100 service, are you making, $50 on average? Are you making $100? Is it like a course where you don't really have any overhead? And then we really kind of break it down to figure out, okay, what is it going to take to get there? And I always recommend to people, give yourself 90 days, give it a solid 90 days. Let's pick a budget. My clients, we never decrease the budget. That's one of my rules. Like, you're going to tell me how much you want to spend. We're going to agree. And then we're either going to keep it consistent or we're going to raise it. Because if you're doing marketing the proper way, you're going to get those results and you're going to be able to lower the cost or the action within a 30, 60-day period. So I always tell people, don't get scared. Never stop. Always raise your budget, because it's going to come. It's going to happen. The other way that I tell people is look, I'll say how much do you make when you install a roof, right? And then I say, well, if you could get one roof install and that you're going to make X amount of dollars, why not put in that amount to try and get one sale, and grow from there? What if you get 2 sales? Well, now you're making money,
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it, but I always recommend, if you're trying to get results, the more you spend, the faster you're going to get there. Okay. Yeah. The less you spend, it's going to be a headache. You're going to get discouraged and you're going to be like, oh, this is probably not for me. So I highly recommend to have a consistent budget within 90 days, 3 months, and just hold to that budget. Don't get scared, because I've had people come into my agency that I've worked for, and just 2 months will go by and nothing will happen. And then the 3rd month, it's they're like, wow, the return on investment is huge. I'm not saying that happens every time, but I've had it where, people are waiting and then it kind of clicks and they're seeing a huge return on their investment. So
that's amazing. And that was the next thing that I was actually going to ask you, is what time frame do you give people to start expecting results? But you're saying 90 days, commit to 90 days, you're going to start to see it. And a good way to know how much money you're going to spend is keeping in mind how much money that you're going to make off of the sale that you get. And that was exactly what you told me. And I loved that you said, I actually spent the rest of my drive on the way to the office thinking about that. I'm like, man, I could, if I sell one roof, that could be $1,000. I could have $2,000 in profit on that. There could be more, just depending on how big the roof is. And it really did help me to kind of reset my mindset on how much am I going to pump in to Facebook ads. And I love it, to be honest with you, because I've been collecting data. I have the data. I have the retargeting. My pixel has a lot of information by now. And so I'm really excited to see what I'm going to be able to do with that information. So last but not least, guys, if you have any questions for Mason, start to drop them in the comments. This is the last one that I have for him, but if y'all have any, I have it up where I can see the comments and I'm happy to ask him anything. But my last thing for you today, Mason, is what should people do? Do we start by hiring a marketing company? Do we start with building up some data so you have something to work with? What is your advice for people that's like, okay, well, I want to get involved with Facebook ads. What should I really do first?
So the most important thing is making sure that you have your business account made, which a lot of people, when they start working with me, they do not. So I walk them through that process.
So business. Just set up the business page first. You have to 100%.
100%. Which I'm gonna
personal page, a business Facebook page.
Yes, and let me explain why. Because even this happened to me once. When you're running ads, when you have your Facebook.com, you have a personal ad account, and that's attached to your Facebook account. And if something goes wrong, this happened to me once. If something goes wrong with that account, they actually stop you from creating any other type of account on anything that your name is attached. It will get shut down. So if my personal account right now got flagged, I wouldn't be able to control any of my clients' like work. It's that crazy. So I tell people, like, don't run Facebook ads on your personal page. I don't even know why they give you the option to do that, to be honest with you. I find that to be extremely weird, because it's like, if you get flagged there, you're pretty screwed. So they have not gotten better with that either.
Wow.
It's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, you definitely want to make a business ad account. You want to have your page. I have all my pages in my business manager. I don't have them. It doesn't say that I'm an admin of my pages. It says my company is. So it gives me an extra level of protection. But yeah, you want to have your business stuff situated. You want to have your business ad account. You want to have your pixel. Whether or not you have a website, you still want to have a pixel. Now the pixel is going to tell you to put it on a website, but you can still attach that pixel to an ad account. So, it takes 5 minutes to create a pixel, put it on the ad account so it tracks things. And then, you want to have that budget ready. You want to know what you want to spend. But absolutely number one thing when I start working with someone is getting their business account set up and getting their pixel properly set up on whatever it is that we're driving traffic to. That's number one.
I love that, because we have a question here in the comments from Anthony, and he asked, what is a pixel?
So a pixel is basically the way that Facebook can track when someone goes to your site, what they're doing on your site. It's the same thing pretty much as Google Analytics, but it's for Facebook. So when you have a website and you have all these buttons on your site, you have an opt-in form, you can actually attach a Facebook pixel to whatever buttons and claim it as an event. So if someone's submitting an application on my website, when someone hits that submit button, it will actually go back to the Facebook pixel and let me know that someone actually hit that submit button. So I can track how many people I'm driving and where people are going and how to retarget those people. So it's actually the most important thing, in my opinion, before you start running ads, to have that pixel set up. Because if you run ads without a pixel and you drive traffic, you're not collecting any data. So that's when it becomes a waste of money.
Yeah. So the pixel is a piece of code, right, that Facebook gives you, and you can paste it, and it will collect the people. We'll collect the data for you, and then it will remember those people, and you can retarget and hit those same people again. So you're not always just blasting out to a random audience. You can go back, and the people that are in your pixel, if you will, that piece of code is now tracking. I had to learn about that too, and I wasn't really very good with like computer and code and all. So I just want to clarify that it's a piece of code, because honestly, I didn't know that at the beginning of it.
Yeah. Think of it like your own personal audience. That's what it is. It's your own data. You own that. That's your demographic. That's how people that you can retarget.
Yeah, and we have to say this because of the nature of this group. It's that actually gives your business value. If you ever wanted to go sell your company to somebody, if you're not tracking your current customers, your current customers, your past customers, the people that were interested, your prospects to retarget, all this data is actually an asset to your business if you ever went to go sell it.
Exactly.
You have tools, you have employees, you have business credit, you have data. Data is so important to your business. And so Facebook gives you a piece of code where they will track all of this and keep it for you. And it's really nice because you can, like Mason said, you can put that on your website, track people there, or put it in your ads and track people there. And so it's your people tracker. You get to track all the people that show any level of interest in doing business with you. And man, is there anything in marketing more powerful than that? That's the thing, is I can't think of any other, even Google, even with your Google Analytics, it still doesn't get as granular, I think, as Facebook does.
Yeah.
So, as far as the pixel and tracking people go. All right,
Absolutely.
Mason. So last thing here, if somebody wants to get in contact with you, and first of all, I got to tell y'all too, man, Mason gives out a lot of free information. He really does. He gives out a lot of free value. It's one of the things I really appreciate about him. So don't be don't feel like if you reach out to Mason to have a conversation that you're just going to be overly sold to. Y'all can probably tell his personality already, that he's a really nice guy, really easy to talk to. And so find yourself, if you have any questions after you see this video, finding him on Facebook. But go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, just in case somebody sees this on YouTube or whatever later. We can definitely get them to have a conversation with you. And then if they wanted to go about having a consultation to see if you're right for their business, what do they need to do to make that happen?
Sure. So right now my website is going under development, so it should be up in about a week or two, but currently I'm very active on Facebook, as you can imagine, because that's what I'm on 24/7. So if you want to reach out to me personally, that's great. I might redirect you once you do that to my business page, which is Trinity Marketing Solutions LLC. So facebook.com/Trinity Marketing Solutions LLC. I'm sure we can put links down too. And then, you can talk directly with me or on my company page. And then also, if you just want some insight, if you want to know if marketing is right for you, we'll have a form for you to fill out. I have an in-depth marketing form that if you take 5 minutes to fill it out, I can kind of really understand what industry you're in, what you're looking for, what you're looking to spend. And I can really, set up a time to talk to whoever wants to and figure out if, Facebook is right for them. So
that form that you're having people fill out is awesome too, by the way. He's actually getting some information from you that's going to paint a really good full circle of your business so that he can see if this is right for you and develop a plan. Mason is I've known Mason for a while now because we've been in some mutual mastermind groups. We've been connected on Facebook. And we've had conversations where it's just been like me, you, and Nick, for example, where there's nobody else around to hear or anything like that. And I'll tell you, I've personally heard when nobody else was around how passionate Mason is about getting results for his clients. And that's the reason that you're the one that I wanted to bring on here today and share with the Networking Lounge, because this is about business. This is about making money. But at the end of everything else, man, business and money, it's really about people, and it's about relationships, and it's about, we know that when we add value to the marketplace, that money comes with that. And Mason really does lead with that. So he's the one I wanted to connect everybody in here with. Marketing on Facebook for your business matters. You will grow your business using Facebook marketing. So if you're ready to take that to the next level, or you just don't have time to mess with it yourself, I highly recommend getting in contact with Mason, because he will be able to help you come up with a marketing strategy to help your business grow. He helps people in all industries grow their business too. That's another thing that's kind of unique about you, because you're not super niche-y. I think you started that way though, right? With real estate.
Yep.
And then you learned like, this is the same game for everybody. I just have to know their business and how to attract people to their business. But you do that with your forms and conversations. And so it's been cool to kind of watch you expand that out to not just real estate. You've actually helped, what you said you helped, you were working with like a, God, what, it wasn't surgery, but it was a
ultrasound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something in the medical field.
Yep. In
cool.
Texas. Yep. A very small ultrasound clinic in Texas. We did very well with that too. So I was actually pretty shocked at how well it worked out.
What are some other examples of different industries that you've just really been able to help blow up?
Business funding, which is actually pretty complicated on Facebook. So Facebook does complicate some industries because they have a lot of policies. So real estate, anything with loans, credit, anything like that, it does take a level of knowledge to understand the wording to get around a lot of their policies. I've done solar, insurance. I've helped realtors, real estate investors. Let's see, currently I've done e-com. E-com is another one that I've done. So selling a course, services, cold calling, stuff like that. Yeah, I've done quite a few industries, but I take it as like a learning experience for myself as well. Like if someone comes to me with a unique industry, I'm always down for the challenge, and I always tell them like, look, like let's make it happen. I would love to learn. Yep.
I love it. Hey, thank you for coming on today, Mason. I appreciate you taking out a few minutes of your day and jumping on and giving people these tools, because man, you got to be able, like we started this video off, you have to be able to bring people in the door. And that's what attracted you to your business to begin with, was how do we as business owners get people in the door? So once again, guys, if y'all don't mind just showing Mason some love in the comments, he's taking his time out to come share this information with us. We always appreciate that. Y'all share him a heart, give him a heart in the comments. And thank you so much, Mason. I'll be talking to you soon. And everybody that tuned in with us, thank you all for also spending a few minutes of your day and investing this time in yourself to grow your company. Because when you invest in yourself and in your brand, that's when you start leveling up, and it goes from just being dreams till we actually wake up and make it into realities. It's not something we just talk about, but it's something that we execute on. And thank you guys for joining in with us today and making that commitment to yourself, because that's really powerful and important in its own. So everybody have a fabulous Friday, have a safe weekend, and we'll be touching base with y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.